Hi everyone, this is Niki Rowland for Spiegel Mom Scraps, and today I'm making a layout using a new sequin mix to the store, and it is called That Summer Feeling, and it is a beautiful mix full of lots of pretty colours. It has lime green glitter, it has light blue, it has navy, it has purple hearts, it has some lilac, it has green stars, and yellows as well. It has lots and lots of beautiful things, plus those big kind of round things. I don't know what they're called, starburst type things. Anyway, moving on. I'm using a lot of Vicki Boutin Color Kaleidescope for this layout, plus some different coloured cardstocks, and I have cut some hearts, the Fluttering Hearts from the Confessions of a Paper Addict store. I've cut those out of pattern paper, and then I've backed them with cardstock or different pattern paper, and then what I've done is I've stuck them to the background of my layout, and I have sewn through them with black thread on my sewing machine. So that's what I've done here. I'm using, I say, this all these hearts to create this really cute love scene, or not a love scene, as the case may be. So the backstory behind this layout is that my little baby is in the photos, and my friend's little baby is also in the photos. They're the same age. The reason she's got her face covered is because I don't have permission to put her on social media. The parents don't have their children on social media, so I have covered her up. But the first time they met, they're the same age, and the first time they met, of course, we're saying that they're going to get married because they're exactly the same age, and my baby was terrified of her, absolutely terrified. He cried his eyes out the entire time I was there, and the reason was because she kept screaming. She kept making these really high-pitched squealing noises, and he'd never heard anything like that before in his life, and he was just terrified, bless him. So he just spent the entire time crying his eyes out. So anyway, this layout is going to be called Not Love at First Sight. You can see that my layout is coming along. I've got 3 photos, 2 square ones and 1 landscape one. I'm mounting those on pattern paper, and I'm distressing the edges of those. I've pulled out some hearts from the Vicki Boutin Color Kaleidescope heart paper that I'm totally in love with, but the hearts were the wrong shape. So I've used a heart punch, which was a similar shape to the Fluttering Hearts I've got as the big hearts in the background, and I have cut those with the punched heart in the punch instead, so they are more of the correct shape. So I'm just kind of arranging everything on the layout. I've got those big starbursts from the sequin mix, and I've pulled out the word love. It's a wood veneer word, love, and it's from Hexa Love, which was a set a few months ago from the store, but I didn't want to use the gold and the red. That wouldn't work with this layout, but the little word love was just perfect for the layout that I wanted to make today. So that's going to form part of my title, and I'll pull the rest of the title in using alphabet stickers. Okay, so I'm still kind of fiddling around, arranging things. I'm working out where everything's going to go. As much as I love a layout like this with either horizontal or a vertical element, obviously it's horizontal in this case, I needed something to mirror that along the bottom. It was just too white at the top and too white at the bottom. So I've pulled out, I've ripped off the bottom of the layout, and I've put on a piece of black Vicki Boutin paper that matches one of the hearts that I've got going on. And I was trying to put this layout back together and make it 12 inches, and it wasn't working, so I had to re-stick that very quickly, and because otherwise my layout would have been like an inch bigger or smaller, I think, than what I had intended it to be, so that wouldn't have worked. I'm also using some Rustic Hearts from the store as well. They are little wood veneer hearts that are just from the Rustic Hearts set, so I'm using some of those. I figured that my tear at the bottom of the layout needed a little bit of extra colour in there, so I've just gone through and added a bit of extra turquoise paper. Again, that's one of those Vicki Boutin ones from her Color Kaleidescope collection, and I'm putting that in there, just poking out a tiny bit so that I've got an extra bit of colour down the bottom. It's obviously just black and white, and I wanted to bring in some colour there, so that's how I did that. I'm also going to add some other bits to that little section too. So here I am coming in with my title. So I didn't want to use stickers because they were all too big, and the little word love is so tiny. So I pulled out some tile stickers from the Heidi Swap Colour Fresh sticker book, and I've just stuck all of those down, pulled them all out and stuck those down to form my title. So it says "Not Love at First Sight," and I've just gone down with my glossy accents and stuck on all of my wood veneer hearts as well. So I wanted this scattering of hearts all around the layout, and then of course I'm going in with my sequins. So I say I'm using that really lovely set called That Summer Feelin, and I am just scattering those all over the place in the same places that I've put the hearts, the wood veneer hearts that is. So I'm literally just I just sprinkled them all to begin with. My clusters weren't quite right, so I had some wrong colours in the wrong places, or too many in one place and not in the other, not an even spread. So I've just had to move some of those around, and I'm adding in some more as well. So I wasn't sure about the purple hearts, but they actually look fab. So I've brought those in as well. And then I've also brought in some butterflies, yellow butterflies from another set called Summer Morn. So I will list all of these sequins that I've used at the bottom or underneath this video. So I'm just going through with my glossy accents and my paper piercing tool there, and just moving all my sequins out of the way, putting down a tiny blob of adhesive and then moving them back into position. I get people ask me all the time how I do this, and it's by just literally putting a tiny bit of glossy accents on the end of my paper piercing tool, which is nothing special, it's just literally a paper piercing tool, and then because the sequins are very lightweight, I'm able to move them out of the way using the paper piercing tool, and then I just stick them back into position once I've added some glue. Okay, so now I'm coming in to add some more bits and pieces to this layout. So I've just put a lime green circle sticker underneath my little tear at the bottom, and I'm adding in some label stickers and some other circle puffy stickers and some ephemera as well. So I love the bright colours of this layout, and I wanted to just bring in as many different colours as I could, and textures and words, pretty words. So I have things like love and dreamer and this and that, remember this, and then this happened, memories, all of that kind of thing. So all these lovely little phrases that worked perfectly with this photos and this story that I'm telling on this layout. So I struggled with this one. It was really long and it didn't work in a long line. So I cut it up into pieces, and it says a picture is worth 1,000 words. And it totally is in this case, I say, because there's this little lovely little girl smiling at my baby boy, and he is just looking at her like she is the devil, and he is crying his eyes out. Poor baby, honestly. Anyway, you'll be pleased to know that they have met since, and he's quite happy with her now. He's not crying his eyes out every time he meets his future wife. So all good, all good. Okay, so I'm just getting everything stuck in place. I had some chipboard bits and pieces that needed some extra adhesive, so I've just stuck those down there, also with glossy accents, and that is me done. So I wrote my journaling on after, so that I could cover up the name, and I've blurred that out as well, and you can see that I've got the faces blurred in this, in my close-ups too. Thank you so much for joining me today. That was Nikki Rowland for Spiegel Mom Scraps. Don't forget, if you want to place an order via the Spiegel Mom Scraps store, enter code Niki15 for a discount. Happy scrapping!